This is my Ruger Mark III target pistol. Today we're going to be doing a PAC-T test with 22 long rifle ammo. Specifically, the Aguila hypervelocity ammo. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a minute. But you know, a number of years ago, I recall when I first took a enhanced concealed carry permit class, I was surprised that there were quite a number of people, several people in that class, who had chosen to use a 22 long rifle pistol of one sort or another for their self-defense pistol. Now, you may say, oh my gosh, that's crazy, or no, that's a good idea, whatever it is. I think in my experience, former military police officer, the 22 long rifle is woefully inadequate. It's not a very good lethal round on a bad guy, right? However, I will say this, if you have nothing else, 22 is sure better than nothing else. And in fact, if a person can shoot the 22 really, really well, they become very proficient with that, well, maybe it's not such a bad thing after all, especially if maybe some folks are a little bit recoil shy, don't like the snap of the 380 or the 9mm or the absolute recoil of a 45, those sort of things. Well, maybe a 22 isn't so bad after all. So here's what I did. I'm saying, all right, we're going to give a 22 a fair shake at our PAC-T test. That is the precision and accuracy of this particular handgun on that target there from a distance of 15 yards off the bench. I'm going to try to collect muzzle velocities with my lab radar chronograph. Sometimes it doesn't like really, really small bullets. We'll see how that goes. That would become our consistency part of the test, the standard deviation of those 5-shot group. And then the T part of PAC-T is one shot from 7 yards into this clear ballistic gelatin. Now the bullet is going to have to go through essentially my jacket. Right? This is an old Carhartt jacket with a blanket lining in it, and then it's going to have to also pass through a strip of cowhide leather, and then into a 20% clear ballistic gel block. That's considered a NATO gel block. And just in case it goes through that 16-inch gel block, I don't think it will, it's going to have a backer block there as well. This is a 30-grain bullet. It's supposed to be going pretty darn fast. Never chronographed this at all. So here's my thinking. Number one, if I had to use a 22 long rifle, I'd want to choose a bullet that is going as quick as possible. I think that might give me a little bit of an advantage. This particular handgun may not be a good choice for concealed carry. Probably hard to conceal this thing with that long barrel, but may not be such a bad choice for home defense. That's my reasoning behind it. You may not agree with it, may not like it, but that's the test we're going to do. Let's go ahead and get started. I got it. That's our 5. Put her back on safe. We are clear. Happy that this thing recorded all 5 of those shots. Let's see how it did. Yeah, tremendous standard deviation. I saw one of those rounds at just over 1100, 1151, 1161 feet per second. Standard deviation 73.6 feet per second. Let's put one round into that clear ballistic gelatin. Well, that's not too bad. It made it through the Carhartt, the leather, about a little bit more than halfway through the gel block, and there it is. We'll get that little bullet dug out, measure it, weigh it, give it a full assessment on our PAC-T test using the modified FBI protocol. Let's dive into the wrap-up for this Aguila super maximum hypervelocity ammo. You know, I have not been having very good luck this year. If you've been watching some of our previous PAC-T tests, we had some okay, reasonable results for some of those, but for the most part, I've ended up disappointed in most of those end results, and unfortunately, we got another one of those today. Let's walk through all of these results. The first one is, let's look at precision. Now, that's not actually too bad. The precision of this round shot okay, a little bit low. Off the bench at 15 yards, 1.71 inch. And again, not too bad, but certainly could have been better. Accuracy for this load was 44 points. They were all in the red. That's good. With 0 in the X. Once again, if I had taken the time to very carefully zero this pistol and that Burris fast fire mounted on it to this ammo at 15 yards, I would have shot much better. In fact, when I did that little experiment or little evaluation with my transparency overlay, I ended up scoring 50 points, a perfect score, 50 points possible, with 1 falling in the X ring. Now, the consistency part, recall, is from the lab radar, and it's the standard deviation of the muzzle velocities. And what we have there is not good at all. I don't think I ever chronographed a 22 round before, so I don't know if this is in the ballpark or not. 73.6 feet per second of standard deviation, and an average muzzle velocity, and I'm going to stress this a little bit, average muzzle velocity of 1,287 feet per second. And I stress that because when we look at the advertised price of this super maximum hyper velocity round, it's stated to be achieving 1,700 feet per second at the muzzle. Maybe that's out of a rifle. It's possible. I don't know that we're going to get almost 500 or 400 plus feet per second more out of this bullet if I shot it through a rifle. I didn't do that test, so I can't confirm for sure. For terminal performance, again, fairly disappointing, quite disappointing round. This Aguila penetrated. I thought it was slightly more than 8 inches when we were out there looking at it at the range. Ended up being 7 7/8 of an inch. Didn't even quite make halfway through that, but that's still very good penetration, actually, for a bullet that gets in, again, to that, 8-inch to a 12-inch range, right around there. That is really, really performing well. So it did a good job that way. But we saw no expansion whatsoever. Tiny little bullet like this, and you get no expansion with it. If it did expand, it wouldn't have penetrated that deep. But you get no expansion on it. That makes it even a worse choice for terminal performance. It's even less lethal than what you would hope for. Watching the gel block, even when I slowed it down super slow-mo, it's just anemic. It's pathetic. It is very little wound channel caused by this particular bullet. Now, I shouldn't really complain too much because this bullet, in fact, all 22 long rifle bullets are not made for self-defense. They're not designed for that. They are designed for plinking type of shooting, practice shooting, target shooting, and certainly for some varmint shooting and small game. In fact, this is an excellent round for jackrabbits. I've hunted jackrabbits with this for years, and it is really a good round. Out of that same pistol that I shot today. Really an excellent round for that application. Now, if you, again, as I said earlier in the introduction, that if you have absolutely nothing else for self-defense, personal defense, then a .22 pistol is okay. It is certainly better than nothing. But if you're one of those people who has a .22, and don't take offense to this evaluation, take it as a learning experience before something bad happens. I really recommend that you seriously consider stepping it up a little bit, hopefully to about a 9mm, somewhere in that range should be okay. Get a good, reliable pistol for your home defense, self-defense. Practice with that. Get some training, those sorts of things. Really important stuff. And you'll be just fine. You'll be so much better off because, you know, hitting the bad guy with one of these or a couple of these in those sort of situations that everything can move so darn quickly, what if he doesn't stop, right? One shot with that, probably not going to stop an aggressor. 2 shots, maybe not either. There's no guarantee that they'll stop with a 9mm either, but you have far more firepower with something like that, or a 45 ACP, etc. So please consider that. Take the time to think about it carefully, and again, if you are currently using a .22, maybe step it up to a 9mm in your future. Well, we've got some more PAC-T tests coming up. We're going to be testing the 230 grain Federal HST in my HK45 Tactical. We got a whole bunch of shotgun buckshot that we're going to be testing. I'm real excited for both of those. I hope you'll be able to tune in. Until then, thanks a bunch for watching.